I figured they'll start closing them. I call to order the Board of Zoning and Building Appeals. Can we all rise to say the Pledge of Allegiance? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Okay. Will the clerk please call roll?
Members of the board, Kane,
Here.
Grotman,
Here.
Weaver,
Here.
Toth,
Here.
Masterson.
Here.
Members of the administration, council liaison Abens,
Here.
chief building official Fursden,
Here.
assistant law director Morgan, planning and development director Lieber.
Okay. We will move on to the election of officers. So the first position is chairman.
I nominate Linda Masterson.
Second.
Okay, are there any other nominations? Hearing none, we'll take roll.
Kane,
Yes.
Grotman,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Toth,
Yes.
Masterson.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, so we will do the position of vice chair. I nominate Paul Grotman.
Second.
Will the clerk, are there any other nominations? Hearing none, will the clerk please take roll?
Kane,
Yes.
Yeah.
Grotman,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Toth,
Yes.
Masterson.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, so for secretary, I nominate Tina.
Second.
Will the clerk, anybody else want to be secretary? Will the clerk please take roll?
Kane,
Yes.
Grotman,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Toth,
Yes.
Masterson.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, for the Board of Flood and Drainage Control Liaison, the board will entertain any nominations. I nominate Brad.
I'll second it.
Anybody else? Will the clerk please take roll?
Kane,
Yes.
Grotman,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Toth,
Yes.
Masterson.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, for the last position, alternate Board of Flood and Drainage Control Liaison. Board will entertain a motion. James? Okay. Anybody second? Will the clerk please take roll?
Kane,
Yes.
Grotman,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Toth,
Yes.
Masterson.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, so the regular meeting minutes from December 18th. Does anybody have any comments, corrections? I make a motion to approve as submitted.
Second.
Will clerk please take roll? Oh,
You want to take roll?
yes, please.
Kane,
Yes.
Grotman,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Toth,
Yes.
Masterson.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay. Mr. Toth, do you have a planning commission report for us?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. The North Ridgeville Planning Commission took action on one item at the regularly scheduled meeting on January 13th, 2026. Ordinance 2025-159, an ordinance vacating a portion of Aspen Street. PC action. Recommended for approval to City Council with an amendment striking Section 2 by a unanimous vote of the Commission. In addition to this action, the Commission was informed by Director Lieber of two administrative approvals for new businesses in North Ridgeville. The first was to Bear Beauty Bar, 35836 Center Ridge Road, Suite 103. approval of certificate of zoning compliance for esthetician, skincare, waxing, eyebrows, and eyelashes. And the second was to Sahara Glow, 35836 Center Ridge Road, Suite 103, approval of certificate of zoning compliance for spray tanning. These two businesses will share the same address while operating as separate entities. We wish to welcome them to North Ridgeville and wish them well. The next Planning Commission meeting is scheduled for February 10th, 2026. This concludes my report.
Thank you very much, sir. Are there any other reports or correspondence? Hearing none, we'll go to the public hearings.
PPZ 2025-0389, Denise Bittner, Body Remedy Massage and Wellness LLC, 7079 Avon Belden Road, PPN 07-00-021-117-094. Owner, Avon Belden Business Mall LLC. Proposal consists of window signage. Property is zoned B2, Central Business District. Request, 1, an appeal from the determination of the zoning administrator that the north-facing windows approaching the front door to the business are a separate window area, and 2, a variance for window signs occupying 100% of a window area. Code allows 50%, section 1286.11B1.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I would request that the board consider the appeal first, and then, based on the outcome of the appeal, you can consider the variance second and separately.
Okay. All right, would the applicant and anybody that wants to speak on behalf come to the podium?
Hi again.
Okay. Hi. Could you please state your name and address for the record?
Yeah, Denise Bittner, 2181 Julia Avenue, Avon, Ohio, 44011.
Okay, do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to make before the Zoning and Building Board of Appeals for the City of North Ridgeville are true as you shall answer unto God or under the penalties of the law of perjury?
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right, would the staff like to introduce the case?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This matter was tabled at your November meeting. The request on the agenda was for 100% coverage of window signs, but during the discussion of that meeting and since that meeting, it's evident that the applicant was not just seeking a variance for coverage of window signs, but disagrees with the interpretation that led to that definition of that variance being 100% window coverage. And so that's why the Assistant Law Directors asked the board to consider the appeal first, because the decision on the determination will factor into what variance might be necessary for this business. So for the purpose of administering the sign code, I view the 4 west-facing storefront window panes as a single window area. Our code allows signs to be installed but not to occupy more than 50% of the window area. The ordinance states that window areas separated by piers, architectural elements, or similar features that are not glass or window framing or support shall be considered separate and distinct window areas. That would mean any like mullions or other kinds of structural elements that create those separate window panes on the front of that storefront system. In this case, the storefront glazing turns toward a recessed front entrance. So there are west-facing storefront windows, and then there are some north-facing windows on the approach to the front door. I know that the front door isn't actually used as the front door in this case for the business. But each of those facades are aligned differently. They're not a contiguous, all facing one direction set of storefront windows. And I believe that that change in plane creates, is part of the building design, and it's a wall configuration. It's not attributable to window framing, but it's part of the architecture of the building and how the building was designed. It's distinct from a bay window. A bay window would project from the front face of a building or of a wall or of a house. This is different. This is a recessed entrance, and the separation is created from the building architecture rather than a feature of the window. So because the glazing is installed on those two separate wall planes, I determined that the west-facing storefront windows and the north-facing entry windows are separate window areas. So the applicant shows complete coverage of the west-facing windows and no coverage of the north-facing windows. So under my interpretation, they would need the variance for 100% window coverage. And their argument is that the north-facing windows should count in the overall area. And since those are uncovered, that would reduce the level of variance requested. Does that make sense? Okay. Further, there's a section in the code governing sign area calculation that states that sign areas include the sign copy and then any background panel, cabinet, or surface distinctively painted, textured, lighted, or constructed to serve as the background for the sign copy, and that the sign area is to be calculated using the smallest permitted shape that encompasses the extreme limits of that background panel, cabinet, or surface. So the applicant has re-envisioned some of the signage to include like a black border around the graphics that are proposed. But just in looking at our code and even some of the examples in our sign code that were shown about how to calculate sign area, I believe that that trim still counts towards the signage calculation and does not reduce the amount of signage actually proposed in this case. So it is, my interpretation that those windows, the west-facing windows, constitute a single window area, and that the proposal constitutes 100% window coverage. And that is the appeal that you'll be hearing first from the applicant.
Okay. Does anybody else want to speak on behalf of this? Okay.
Madam Chair, there's a couple of things I'd like you to consider while you're making the determination on appeal. And it comes from our ordinances. I would draw your attention to 124201 in the administration chapter. It taught under section B, it clearly states that the Planning and Economic Development Director shall interpret the requirements of the code based on a common understanding of the terms. And the only variation from that comes from case law. If this were to be appealed, say, to a court, and the standard they would use to review such a decision would be, it would not be overturned unless her decision was arbitrary, capricious, inconsistent with law, unreasonable. So it's it's a standard which you'd have to do something completely unreasonable before they would overturn that. And like I said, 124201 gives the planning director the ability to interpret the requirements of the code. Additionally, in chapter 1286, there are some directions about facade measurements that, while applying to width in section 1, I think it has an application probably to this set of circumstances as well. It indicates when calculating the permitted sign areas, calculation shall be based on viewing the facade from straight on, regardless of facade insets, offsets, or angles. So I think that would be, in this particular instance, it wouldn't be applicable every time, but in this instance, I think that's probably something that the commission or the board should look at when they're making their decision as well. Thank you.
Mr. Furston, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Not at this time.
Mr. Abens?
Nothing at this time.
Okay, so, would you like to speak on behalf of this?
I think your interpretation was right as far as how we were looking at it, but I just have one question really quick. Are you saying that the black outline around is gonna count as picture, as sign? So if I tinted, like we were talking about last time I was here, we were talking about tinting around the photos. Would that also count as signage, the tinting of the window?
If it's like a curtain, a window covering, tinted glass, that does not count, but this is more of a,
Well, because I
Frame.
think, because in the pictures, and I'm not sure if it was represented 100%, but it was it's a window tinting around. Obviously my example is, I'm not a graphic designer, but it was kind of a representation of what it would be on the outside. So if that's acceptable for that, that's also something that we were kind of thinking to do, so. Not black, I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, and
Do you know what I
perhaps,
mean?
I just read that it would be a border around the perimeter, and it just looked like kind of the backdrop for signage. So not maybe understanding if it was like the glass is tinted or,
Right,
I would say tinted glass would be a distinction.
okay, and the black in the middle framing is just to make the black in the middle there, we didn't calculate that towards the area that we took off. That was just to make the picture blend, or the frame of the window is silver, and I just thought it would look silly if we didn't blend it in, so. Just a couple distinctions, but, yeah, that's my, what I wanted to explain. On the interpretation part, I'm sure you saw Exhibit H. This is just something that came up right down the street. Seems to be the similar coverings for additional precedent. That picture. I believe the 3 window panes to the left of the, according to the interpretation that was given on my window, would be considered one window, and those are 100% covered, so.
Would
it's
you
two-
like to address that, Ms. Leslie?
Madam Chair, when items come to our attention, as other businesses might have non-compliant signage, we do refer those to our zoning inspector, and he does follow up on those items.
Has he followed up on this instance?
Yes,
Because, to be clear, the zoning inspector is the person who lodged the complaint originally. It wasn't based on he was driving down the road and noticed it, is what you told us.
the zoning inspector doesn't complain, but he does note situations of non-compliance, which I know he noticed that situation of non-compliance of the applicant and this particular one. He's noticed also McDonald's and some other businesses, so he does the best job he can going around and observing.
So she is not the only person, she's just the only person up in front of us.
Correct. I suppose I don't know if he's issued other notices of violation or if he's found property owners to be cooperative in removing signage, but it's possible he has issued other notices. I'm just not specifically aware of if a notice was issued for this building, but I am aware that he did talk to the owner about compliance.
Would Mr. Furston know the answer to the question?
I believe he's notified 2 other businesses that I'm aware of. The one in the picture here, as a matter of fact, when he was removing part of his signage, he actually broke one of his windows, so he has to replace that. And I believe he also inquired at the McDonald's next door about getting
So the
compliant.
signs are coming down? Is that what you're
Yes.
telling me? Okay. I just wanted to be clear, because... Okay. Did you want to go on?
Yeah, so I did on the next exhibit, okay, so when we were reading through this code, it does say that to view it at a 90-degree angle, but it says regardless of the facet, inserts, offsets, or angles. So that was just into calculating the sign area. So that was the one thing that we were looking at, because it is kind of a bay window, but it comes off of a brick wall on the one side, so I guess not truly, which would be the next page of what our specific one is. Yeah, there it is at the bottom there. So our angle on the side is not a 90-degree either, it's a 45-degree, and it's only divided by window frame. So there's nothing in between it, making it a separate window at all to us. We didn't cover it, not because of the code, because we didn't know about the code at the time. I was planning to put menus and stuff on it of our services, so I'm kind of glad I didn't get that far. But if you, well, it's page 23, I guess it's not an exhibit on my page. Yeah, there's the window framing on the side. That's a continuous frame around the side of the window. And then it goes a 45. You can see it from if you're coming from the intersection of 83. I guess if you're standing in front of it, you can see a part of it, but not as much as they're talking about the front 4 panels. So, when we did, when we were looking at that calculation, we were looking at, I don't know if I have the actual section, the part highlighted in the next exhibit. Sorry, I can't refer to the page. I think it's 23, if you have it. With the highlighted part in it of the other part of the code for window signs. Sorry.
No, it goes from 22. Yeah.
What?
About that?
No, it's it's another page. I guess I could pass it around, but, it's the one in section B where it talks about the 50%, of the code. Was it not in my packet? I mean,
Do
I
you
can.
have it?
I do. I have a copy of it. If you, can I or me?
Yes, please.
So the part that I highlighted, it says, okay, window signs shall not occupy more than 50% of the window area.
It's,
This-
okay, it's marked as Exhibit 21.
Oh, okay.
There we go, got it.
Thank you.
Here you go, dear. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so window areas separated by piers, architectural elements, which I guess that's what the building department is considering the angle, or similar features that are not glass, window, framing, or support shall be considered separate and distinct window areas. So the shall not is what we were looking at, because even if the angle is determined to be an architectural element, the angle of the window, the change, it's not, it's an architectural element that's not glass or window framing or shall support. So that in our interpretation means that it should be counted towards the total area. So that would be our appeal for that. Did you want me to move on to the other part, the window framing part?
The exhibits are more to be addressed once we deal with the interpretation. So we have to deal with the first situation and then we can go on to the second
Okay,
situation.
okay.
Is there anybody that wants to speak on behalf of this matter?
Do you have, oh, yeah, I
Okay, I do need to swear you in, dear.
was gonna say, we've
Okay.
been through this at nauseam. So
Yeah.
you-
Can you state your name and address?
John Borden, 40182 Biggs Road.
Do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to make before the Zoning and Building Board of Appeals for the City of North Ridgeville are true as you shall answer unto God or under the penalties of the law of perjury?
I do.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
Just going back to that and the interpretation of it. You know, I look at English words as being important within your code and what they say to people. And for them to say window area separated by piers and architectural elements. So for me, separation is separation of the window framing by an architectural element. Yes, the window is an architectural element, but it's not separated by an architectural element. And later on in the code, it says features that are not glass or window framing. That's English saying that what we have is all one window per your code. That's our interpretation, and I can only interpret it using English words. So I just don't understand how it could be interpreted any other way. I've been at nausea reading this, asking other people, like I'm in the trades, so I ask engineers, I ask everybody, and no one has went with that other way. And obviously, I don't have them here tonight to speak on that half, so I just don't understand how it's considered a separate window area, even though it's facing a separate way. And then the only example that we're given is if we have a square building that's all glass, that one side of the building is separated by the other. But this is not what we have. It's like a bad example. So,
Okay, is there
That's it.
anybody else that wants to speak on behalf of this? Do any board members have any comments, questions, or concerns?
Madam Chair?
Madam Chair?
I just have one more point of clarification. There's some discussion in the materials about the facade measurement and the drawing that showed kind of the angles, the straight facade versus the angled facade. So I wanted to point out that that section of the code is about facade measurement, and it states that when sign area is based upon the measurement of facade width, it's showing you how to measure the width of that building unit, the width of the building or the width of the building unit. In this case, amount of window signage is not based upon the measurement of facade width. It's based upon 50% of a window area. It's not irrelevant. There's no basis. That drawing, that picture has no basis for this window sign. If it was about a wall sign, and a wall sign is calculated based upon the width of a building unit, it's basically saying you're looking at it straight on. You're not, the width of the unit does not take any ins and outs into consideration. It doesn't add area based upon deviations, ins and outs of how the building might step. So I just wanted to point out that I don't believe that that particular argument has relevance when it comes to window signs that's not based upon a measurement of facade width.
And everything that I've researched in regards to bay windows, a bay window is very specific. And as much as I would love to see this as a bay window, I don't see that. The building's a very simple building, and I just don't see a way to determine that it being a bay window. So that's my area of concern on that. I mean, I understand where you're going with and how you're looking at it. But I'm just, and that's me personally, I just can't see it would be beneficial to you if it were that way. But I don't sadly see that. Does any other board member have any comments, questions, or concerns? I'm sorry, Frank, you had one
Yes.
before and I started talking. I apologize. I just remembered.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to just step back a second and look at the ordinance 607-2023 with the descriptor here stating that based on viewing the facade from a 90-degree angle, i.e. straight on, regardless of facade inserts, offsets, or angles. The appellant here has given us numerous photographs here, and I would like to just point out to the board members here that Exhibit J, Exhibit K, Exhibit L, and Exhibit 1A do not show the north-facing windows. These photographs appear to be taken straight on to the building, and you do not see those other windows that are facing to the north. Thank you.
Anybody else have any other questions, comments, or concerns?
I'd like to add that regardless, I think to read into the next part of it says regardless of facade insets, offset, or angles. So just because you can't see the north-facing window doesn't mean that you have, that to me, that's, you're not excluding that as to me, that as I'm reading it in the code, so I would say that the north-facing window and the window, when you look at it on the 90-degree, is all encompassing of the entire window as it reads in the code. So,
So you're thinking
so
that it's,
to me, it's the north-facing window and the west-facing window is all one window, as it reads in that code that you're referring to. Because it says regardless of insets, offsets, or angles. That being an angle from the straight on, while you might not be able to see that north-facing window, it's still part of the angle. So, to me, it's all one.
Madam Chair, I would just like to go back to, I hear two members of the board relying on that section, coming to different conclusions. I would point out again that that section is about how to calculate facade width, when the facade width is the factor of calculating sign area. It does not relate to anything other than how to determine what that width is. It does not relate to what window signs.
thank you. Anybody else want to speak? Holly? Hi, would you like to state your name and your address?
Holly Swank, 36259 Center Ridge Road.
Okay, do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to make before the Zoning and Building Board of Appeals for the City of North Ridgeville are true as you shall answer unto God or under the penalties of law of perjury?
I do.
Thank you.
If the bottom left window is broken, how many windows do you have to replace? One or all of it? Because I've been in the building, because my eye doctor was in that building, but I don't recall the inside, and I'm
Madam
just
Chair.
curious. Would it be one whole window you would have to
No.
replace, or
Those-
all different panes?
It's been my experience in construction, those are 4 separate panes, all held in place by that grid frame in the middle of it. That's not one giant piece of glass. That's 4 separate window panes.
I'm not sure on the side window if it's 2 separate pieces of glass or if it's just 1 piece of glass with the framing.
I think that this is it's an older building. Why they designed it like that, no, none of us will ever know. It doesn't make sense to me to hound a business that is in North Ridgeville, a small business, when they already struggle to stay afloat, and give them this interpretation or this interpretation. Perhaps we need to relook at the ordinance to make it more clear, but why throw business out of the city
Madam Chair.
if they want to be here?
I think some of the arguments that you're hearing might go more to the second issue that we're going to vote on. So if you want to vote on the appeal issue, when you're ready, then that motion will be whether or not to accept the interpretation of the planning director or not, whether it's correctly decided. And then after you make that decision, then you'll know what variance you're looking at, and then you can decide whether to grant or not grant a variance.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything they'd like to add? Mr. Furston? Okay. All right, the hearing, this is not an easy one. I truly believe that I would love to side on I can see it's a compelling argument on the business owner. However, in reviewing we can grant variances, but the first is asking interpretation of the code. And I do think that Ms. Lieber did a good job interpreting the code. It may not be what we want. So I'm going to make a motion to uphold her decision. I'm sorry? Would it, Ms. Morgan? The question is, when making a motion, am I making a motion to accept her decision or deny her decision?
It's better to do a positive motion, and if you don't agree with that, then you just vote again.
Okay. So I make a motion to accept Ms. Lieber's interpretation of the code.
Second.
Okay, so when taking roll, if you agree with her interpretations, to deny would be to not agree. Would the clerk please take roll?
Kane,
Yes.
Grotman,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Toth,
Yes.
Masterson.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, so now we're on to the second.
Correct, and now both sides can make their arguments as to what the variance amount needs to be, how far you can go.
Okay. So Ms. Lieber, did you want to say something?
I would just request some clarification from the applicant about if they're proposing tinted glass, which would not count towards sign area, what version? I know that they had shared some different options in the packet, and I have never been very sure as to which one they're proposing for your consideration, because then we would need to determine how much of the area is tinted glass and subtract that from 100% to come up with the variance.
Do you want to come on up?
We gave you 3 options. We're hoping for the 4-inch one because it would look better. But then we all went down to 7 inches to get to where we're more than what we were asking before, so less. What we were asking before was a 30% variance. So we were asking for, I think, less on the last option of 7 inches of a border of that around the pictures. So we'll adjust the pictures in, shrink them down, and then put tinted glass on the outside. And we gave you 3 options of 4 inches. If you're nice enough, you'll give us 4 inches. If you deem that still not enough, then we went all the way up to 7 inches. I just looked at the options with the sign company, and
But we're going from a total of 100% coverage, correct?
50%
The
is allowed,
variance that
so-
they're asking for is 100%, is going off of 100%.
Well, 50% there is a given, so it would be anything above the 50%.
Okay,
is
so
what
they're
they're
so-
asking
asking
the
for.
50%.
But they
yeah,
need
so
to
the
let
4
us
inches
know
would be a
which one they're
36%
asking.
variance. And then if we do a 6-inch border, it would be a 29% variance. And then if we do a 7-inch border, it would be a 26% variance. And we were at 80% before, asking for a 30% variance, so.
So which one,
Yeah, when we thought the side windows were there, our interpretation.
Madam Chair, he has to let us know which one he wants.
and that's, which one
So
do
we
you,
can't just, okay.
No.
you have to, we can't.
Can we huddle?
Sure. I guess I was getting confused, total coverage.
Yeah, I was a little bit confused there too.
Okay, that's where I was.
Yeah, that's the 7-inch.
Is this the right calculation? I don't know.
I think it's just the front.
Yeah, we don't want it to look
Yeah,
bad.
we should definitely catch.
So I think going to 7 inches is gonna really shrink it down and be hard to see from the street a little bit more. Maybe 6-inch, we'll do the 29% variance.
Maybe meet in the middle.
Yeah.
And I apologize that there are 3. I thought I was asked to bring options, so plural, so I just figured I'd bring a couple different ones, try something new. And we can make that tinted glass around the outside.
So
Yes.
which one are we going with then?
This one, the 29% variance. So we would put a 6-inch border around the whole outside of the pictures. I would shrink the pictures down, bring them in towards the middle a little bit, center them towards the middle a little bit, and then you'd have a 6-inch border on the outside
Of the tinted.
of the tinted glass.
Ms. Lieber?
And just to confirm that that's based upon just the west windows, that 20?
Yes,
that
that's not
calculation?
included, yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
no.
all of our options.
Yeah, we
just
took that out.
those
I tried
in
to art,
case.
I tried to see, you asked for forgiveness before you asked for permission.
You had to listen to my interpretation.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the requested variance is an additional 29%
Yeah.
window coverage for a total of
Yeah.
79%, where 50% would be.
So that's where I'm
Permitted.
going with. It would be a 79% variance.
No.
No,
29%.
29% variance, okay.
For a total of a 79% coverage.
Okay, got it. Mr. Ferguson?
Exhibit.
Question of clarification, if you would. The number 12,696 is just the west window.
Yeah, just the west window.
Thank you.
Okay. So we've discussed this and debated this for 2 different meetings. Does any of the other board members have any comments, questions, concerns? Does the administration have anything they'd like to add?
We had a conversation, and I think I confused her, because I did think it was part of the middle, but it wasn't. I was wrong on that, I apologize.
Okay.
I'm not the designer, I'm the she asked me to calculate it, so.
Okay. Board will entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve variance 29% K.
I'll second it.
Okay, will the clerk please take roll?
Kane,
Yes.
Grotman,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Toth,
No.
Masterson.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-1.
Okay. You'll
Yeah, we'll
You'll
work with.
deal with the building department to get
Yeah.
what's your requirements.
Yeah, I
Okay.
just have one more question. If the building department is okay with it. Due to the weather outside, do we have a timetable that this has to be completely done by? Or are we allowed to go into a little bit nicer weather? Or what is the timetable on that? I just wanted to clarify with you. Obviously, it will be, we installed these ourselves, so it will be me out in there and him probably. Maybe one of my best friends. It's so, I know.
How are the signs applied to the glass?
Well, we would have to get, we'd have to order new ones, so that
Understood.
I would have to take into account
Is it
ordering.
something that's adhered to the glass?
It's just like the,
Like a
what is it?
film?
Like a film. Yes, but we would also have to do the tint film on the rest of it, so we could do one from the inside, one from the outside, or it's up to you. I figured I would.
Well, I can obviously tell you that you have to be very careful, because we don't want to see you busting all your windows trying to get that off.
That's also my
Like
concern.
happened over across the street at
Yeah.
the convenience store.
Right,
He was taking a hairdryer to that, and the glass just
yeah.
shattered on him.
Yeah, even working with the squeegee, the windows are kind of thin, to be honest with you, because it is such an old building. I was a little nervous of pushing through, so it's up to you. We'll do whatever we have to do.
Perhaps if you just give us a date by which you'll
Okay.
have them done.
I can look online about ordering the different size and start getting that going, and then hopefully we'll get a break on the weather soon.
The weather over the next week, 2 weeks, is not going to be very promising.
Right.
But after that, we may see temperatures rise. If it gets back up into the 40s, that would be a more reasonable time to get that down.
Okay, I agree.
Okay.
All right, I just want to thank you. I just
You're
wanted to
welcome.
clarify. I hope everybody had a good holiday. Thanks for coming back out.
Right. Is there any other business in front of the board? Hearing none, I adjourn this meeting.